Okay, so we are on page 31 in our skills practice textbook. We're going to do numbers 1 through 6 over here. We're going to deal with right triangle congruence and tangent segments. For each figure, determine if there is enough information to prove that the two triangles are congruent. If so, name the congruence theorem used. So starting with number 1, it is a given that GF, so this line, bisects RGS, angle RGS. So if it bisects this, that means these two angles are congruent. So that's this fact. And R and S, angles R and angle S are right angles. Are these triangles congruent? Well, we know that one of the angles are congruent. We also know that they share a hypotenuse. So this hypotenuse is congruent for both of these right triangles. So we have one angle congruent, and then congruent, what's it called, hypotenuse. So we have one angle congruent, and then we have a congruent hypotenuse. Is there any hypotenuse angle theorem? Let's take a look at the notes. We have hypotenuse, we have angle. Is that the theorem? Where is it? It's right here. Hypotenuse angle theorem. And my thing's lagging, so you can't see me circling it. There you go. Hypotenuse angle theorem. So it exists if you have a congruent angle and you have a congruent hypotenuse. You can use the hypotenuse angle theorem to say that they are congruent. HA, hypotenuse angle theorem. Okay, so they are congruent. So you have to say they are congruent, and you have to say the theorem that makes them congruent. Any questions on that? Okay, next one. Given is DV is perpendicular to TU, so you can see that we already have this right angle drawn, which means that this is also a right angle. So we have two right angles. That's fine. And then that's it. That's all they give us. So we just have that there are two right triangles. Oh, and then we also have that they share this leg. So we have one leg congruent. Is that enough? That's not enough information. We need two pieces of information besides the right angle. We need two pieces of information to say that they are congruent. So since they only have one leg congruent, this is not enough information. These are not congruent triangles. Because it only gave us like one piece of information. For all we know, the leg could have been like this long. This is definitely not a congruent triangle. We never would have known. Just because they look congruent doesn't mean they are. Because the only information they gave us is that one leg is congruent. That's it. So, any questions on that one? Okay, we're gonna breeze through the last three because we have 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left. Number 3, given NM is congruent to EM, so that's these two. Those are congruent sides. We have DM is congruent to OM, so that's those two. And then we also have that angles NMD and EMO are right angles. So that's right here. Okay, so when we look at these theorems, we ignore the right angle because we already know they are right triangles. We're going to see what other information they gave us. So they gave us that we have this leg is congruent and also that this leg is congruent. Two pairs of congruent legs. And so if you look at the notes, then you will see that there is the leg-leg theorem. Let me show you where it is really quickly. Leg theorem's box 13. That theorem will show you that these two triangles are congruent. Okay. All right. Okay, trying to make sure we finish this during class time. We've got 3 more problems. We can totally do this. We have RP is congruent to QS. So those two are congruent. We have angle R and angle Q are right angles. That's these two. And that's all they give us, but we also have to note that they share a hypotenuse, because the hypotenuse of the top triangle is the same hypotenuse of the bottom triangle. It's literally the same line. So that is congruent to itself. So therefore we have one congruent leg pair. That's these, one congruent leg pair. And we also have congruent hypotenuse. So we have leg and hypotenuse. Let's take a look at our notes. Which one has a leg and a hypotenuse? The hypotenuse leg theorem, so HL, which means that we can use HL theorem to show that these two are congruent. Okay. Yeah, that's all the time we have. So we don't get to do 5 and 6. I'm sorry. Class is so short on a Monday. But that's pretty much it. So I'm going to end the recording.